that song. I just love it. It's so sad. Sammy, don't you think it's sad?
Yeah, gets me right here, sweetheart. Nice? Better?
After you've gone.
Beautiful voice, isn't it?
She was studying, you know.
Yeah. Speak up. Beautiful?
After you've gone.
There's no denying you'll feel blue.
You'll feel blue.
You'll feel
You'll
sad.
feel so sad. You'll miss the bestest pal you ever had.
Hey, buddy, get that dame away from the band. Look, I don't want any trouble. Are you going to remove her or are we?
What do you mean, are we gonna...
Dave, if there's going to be an argument about Jimmy singing, I'm with him.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Who are you with, baby?
Oh, Nathan, think what you're doing.
Come on, baby, let's dance. They don't appreciate your singing in this joint.
You appreciate my singing, though, don't you, Dave?
After you've
Ah.
gone away.
Hi, and welcome to Ward 13. Are we Ward 13 today?
We sure are.
My
That's what
guest
it says.
host today is Matt Connarton.
I'm back.
Our guest today, Heather
Hi.
of GLSEN, right?
Yes.
Heather, let's introduce yourself and why you're here today.
Okay. Well, my name is Heather Ouellette-Cygan, and I do work with GLSEN, New Hampshire. GLSEN is a national organization that has existed for 26 years. It started right in Boston by some teachers who wanted to be able to support their gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender students who were very closeted at that time. In addition to that, I teach at Concord High School, and I facilitate our Gay and Straight Alliance there as well.
And I heard you on the morning show with Peter White and the Moose,
Yes.
Joel Elbert.
Yes.
And you were on the show to announce there's going to be a prom, Prom Out Loud 4. Would you like to tell the guests about that?
Sure. So on this Sunday, April 24th, we will be hosting a prom, GLSEN, along with PFLAG and others in the state. It's a safe prom, and it's a place where LGBT youth and their straight allies can come together and free to be themselves for an evening when that's not always possible where they live or where they go to school. And it's from 7 to 11 at the Puritan Backroom right here in Manchester.
I just want to, when you said safe, what do you mean? You said it's a safe prom. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we're not going to tolerate any bullying or harassing, or, students can bring a date or not, and they can bring a date that, is, if they're gay, they can bring their boyfriend. If they're lesbian, they can bring their girlfriend. Some kids come single. But they don't have to worry about being harassed or bullied or anything like that. And I mean, and there are still places, believe it or not, in 2016 where they won't let a student bring their same-sex partner to the prom.
I think that's called the South.
Yeah.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what about New Hampshire? This is a prom for LGBT youth for all over the state, is it not?
Yes, we have students coming from all over. We have kids coming from the Seacoast, from the Monadnock region, from up north, all over.
How well attended are they in the
Well,
class?
we've last year we had about 70.
Wow.
About 70 students. This year we think it might be bigger. We think we might have to turn kids away. We're kind of worried we're going to have to turn kids away.
Wow.
These are some flyers from our past proms and some of our other themes. Last year we were Quest for Camelot. We had a medieval theme.
So there's a theme each year.
Each year. So this year it's Glam, Rock, and Glitter in honor of David Bowie. Yeah, so there are just some pictures of members of GLSEN and some of our youth that this was a few years ago at UNH at the huge bullying convention or anti-bullying convention. This was at Portsmouth Pride last year. We marched in Portsmouth Pride. the first ever one. That's our board from a few years ago. We have a photographer every year.
See, there's the Oscars.
Yes, that was
Oh,
our
yes.
Hollywood themed year. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's Bobby Berry. We call her the grandmother of all things gay in New Hampshire. She's with
Why?
P-Flag.
Because
She's been an advocate for a long time.
What is P-Flag? Is it a parents'
Parents,
organization?
friends, yeah, it's a family organization that really supports families who might be struggling or just need support, and to find out services about their child or
No.
and to find out services about their child or
Now,
loved one.
I briefly came back to New Hampshire 2000, 2001. I lived in California for many years, and the weather would always drive me back. That and my family, but we won't get into that. And I remember a friend of mine who originally from one of the good, I don't know if I can use the word, Tony suburbs of Boston. She came up here, very liberal, and this was in the Seacoast area at their high school, but not Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lesbian girl, 16 or 17, and her parents decided to ship her off like to the deep south to like an aunt or anything.
Oh, great.
Or aunt or something. And I remember my friend was part of a group. She wasn't a teacher per se. She was volunteered to help at the school, and trying to help the girl. In the end, she got shipped off to some not Auntie M in Kansas. But, some, good God, we don't know. And does that still happen 15 years later?
There are still youth who can't tell their families because they are in danger of losing their place to live. And a disproportionate number of homeless youth are LGBT youth who have been kicked out of their homes.
It's frustrating. It's like we were talking off air before the show, and I said it's here we are in the year 2016, and this is still a problem. Yeah. And we really should have by now, societally and culturally, moved beyond all this and all the hang-ups, but we're still. It's getting better, obviously,
it is.
but we're still stuck there in so many ways.
Well, in Manchester, New Hampshire, Candia, there was a controversy for last week and the week before. Candia is a town right next to Manchester, northwest of Manchester on 101, going out to the seacoast, and the Candia School Board was considering having accommodations for transgendered students, showering and bathroom. And there was a controversy because somebody put out a flyer. And I could show it to you, but I didn't think. John, if you can see it, I don't think it's in the folder, though. I think that the picture H1 is just on the disc. So I found it afterwards. If you go to the Union Leader website and look up Candia, here it is.
Oh,
This was handed out.
Oh.
And
Wow.
at the bottom it said www.gerardatlarge.com info. Oh, my blog, Anne-Marie Banfield. Now, Rich Gerard, who is, we could take a act on vaudeville, from the old days. And we don't see eye to eye. And for 3 days, he was blaming me for handing out this flyer. Complete fabrication.
Yeah.
Hey, can you show the other one, John? H2? This is his website, the Candia Flyer Update. There's yours truly.
Oh, I hadn't seen this. Is that still up?
I got a call from one of our joint friends. We won't mention him.
Yeah.
And he said, Gerard's on the show blaming you for the flyer because it was a $1,000 reward. And remember I said, he's put $1,000 on my head.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Candia since the last time I went out to the beach.
Right.
And the thing is, this friend, and I'll tell you afterwards what it is. You'll
okay.
never heard that. He didn't listen to it or anything.
Yeah.
So I listened to, but for 4 days, Ray Buckley or me were putting out this flyer. It turned out to be a pastor of an evangelical church, the Gospel Baptist Church, here in the former Franco-American Center. And
Did he own up to it, the pastor?
Oh, yeah, because
Okay.
Rich Gerard, the Candia police, chief went after him because, you know, Gerard is, he's the second most powerful man in Manchester.
Clearly,
because of
yes.
Gatzis.
Yes.
It's true. This little, because nobody opposes this guy. I'm the only person. Matt's along for the ride.
Yes, yes.
Before we're going to have a video, I recut an old show of ours. And I tried to get Matt's approval. That's
Yes.
why we're having 2 episodes today. You're welcome to stay for the second one, because you know the thing. We're Ward 13 because I only have 13 viewers. Well, 12 now because Matt, you come to the show so often.
Right, but I do watch it later on YouTube, so it
we're
still
back
counts.
up to
Yes,
13.
yes.
We
Yes.
wavered a bit. We had 14, but my sister was offended by something. Oh, that's Tom F bombing, but that's
Yes.
beside the point.
Yes.
But Anne-Marie Banfield belongs to some coalition. I didn't bring my notes. I can't remember the name, and I'm not going to look it up here. But they are opposed to accommodating transgendered students. They are Rich Gerard broadcasts on a station that's affiliated with American Family Radio.
Yeah. Oh, Cornerstone Action.
Cornerstone
Thank you.
Action.
Yes.
Cornerstone Action. I think you just smiled. Rich Gerard broadcasts on a station that covers. It's all American family. It's called New Hampshire Family Radio.
Yeah.
It's from what I understand from sources, it's just a sham. They got some old pastor out in Amherst to be head of the Shell Corporation.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
And then all the program is American Family Radio, which is the American Family Association. Now, somebody knows radio says when Rich tries to, ballyhoo his show, he uses ratings. And what he's using is the American Family Radio throughout the entire country.
Right.
But that's another thing. American Family Radio is the broadcast division of the American Family Association. The Southern Poverty Law Center, Morris East, calls it a extremist organization, anti-LGBT.
Oh, yeah.
And why it's extreme is because it uses out-and-out lies,
Yeah.
faked science, and everything. Now, I think it's Human Rights, HRC or something.
Human Rights
Human Rights
Campaign.
Watch?
Human Rights
Human Rights Campaign.
Campaign
Yeah.
calls it a
HRC.
hate group.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
when I mentioned
I've
this
called it that too.
to the board of the school committee, Gerard, going well. Oh, I'm just on the stage. We're gonna. Matt, you have to. Matt is actually a professional hypnotist. Maybe you should hypnotize me for the shows.
Yeah, but I like this kind of stuff. This is interesting.
Yeah, but I want a sports show, classic baseball.
Yes.
Don't write about politics. And oh my God, what goes on here? And nobody says it. I'm glad to have you on the show today because in Manchester, New Hampshire, as Matt and I have talked about this, you can fix an election. You can do all sorts of outrageous stuff because the union leader never covers out anything. They just get away with it. And so this pastor is out there putting out this pedophile coming. The pedophiles are coming. I didn't put it out.
No.
But the Candia police chief caught investigated, found the guy. And Rich is giving the $1,000 to charity.
Oh,
God
okay.
knows what charity it would be.
Maybe it's the American Family Association he's giving it to.
Maybe GLSEN.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That
I
would,
doubt that.
yeah.
But what does that do to a transgender LGBT child, to pedophiles?
Yeah.
It's horrible. These are so many of the LGBT youth are they're at risk, and they're at risk for a number of things. Whether it's behaviors like using drugs and alcohol, unsafe sex, to self-harm, and in the worst cases, suicide attempts and suicide. And really, they just want to go to school and they want to learn.
Right.
But if you are worried about where you're going to go to the bathroom, you're not going to be thinking about physics. You're not going to be thinking about Shakespeare, right? You're worried about going to the bathroom. And so schools want to accommodate that and give students a safe place to pee. And I'm, one thing I didn't say when I introduced myself, I have 2 kids. And I have a daughter, she's 17. I'll talk about her in a second. And I have a son who's 24. He graduated from Belmont High School in 2010, and he's gay. And he was bullied and harassed a little bit. Belmont is a safe school, but they also had some students there who where it wasn't a safe situation. And he didn't tell me this until after he graduated, but it's okay that I share it now. I have his permission. But he did not use the bathroom for 4 years at school.
Wow.
So he would rush in the door and head into the bathroom every day, and I didn't know why until after. It's because he did not feel safe in the bathroom.
Wow.
Because of bullying. You know,
Yeah.
when you mentioned safe, because we were asking safe place, suddenly it dawned on me, oh, geez, even when, when you're like a freshman and you're in the bathroom with the seniors, whether you're straight or you could have trouble, you know.
Right, right.
It just, the light bulb went off. Oh, the bullying in a bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because that's, if there's anywhere you're going to get away with it where there's no authority figures around, unfortunately.
The bathroom and the locker room.
Yeah.
Those are the two least safe places
Jesus,
for
locker rooms.
Yeah.
A bunch of well, that's part, I grew up, my friend Gary, who I mentioned, he used to be a bully, and he used to go after me. But he had his last fight in the 6th grade over at Parker Farm, where Hillary Clinton was just, I thought about, oh, geez, I remember Gary he's inside doing the things. Then he became my best friend in the 6th grade. So I'm from the generation where you had to run the gauntlet. Oh, high school, there's just Keith Hirschman, Alderman Keith Hirschman was a bully.
Really?
But, oh, yeah, but he liked to fight and stuff. And, he never bullied me or anything, but you just hear about it. I don't know if bully would be the right word. But, I just remember there were some seniors, because he was my age, and he used to fight Gary's brother, and then that's another story. But, because you're small, and you'd figure out a new route.
Oh, yeah.
To avoid where the big kids are.
You get resourceful,
You'd avoid, like, the football field, going by the football field.
Yeah.
And where West High is, there's all, like, these warrens and lanes. So that's part of being a straight kid, too, you know. But transgendered is something else when you're dealing with it, because you're dealing with somebody. Why don't you explain? You'd probably do a better job than I explaining transgender.
Okay. Yeah, so a transgender person is a person who whose identity, whose gender identity, or the way they want to express gender is different from the sex with which they were born. So sex is this biological. You're born with parts, and right from the minute you're born, you get pink socks or blue socks, and we're very much a culture that defines who we are through our gender, and it's a binary. You're a boy or you're a girl, and so anyone who doesn't feel like that's really who they are, and then particularly students who really feel like they're in the wrong body. I'm really a girl in a man's body, or a man in a woman's body, and so obviously going to the bathroom is a place that's very gender stratified. There's a girls' room and a boys' room, and and especially if you're a student who a transgender young woman who looks like a girl, dresses like a girl, to have to go into the boys' room is very dangerous and risky, and so schools are trying to accommodate those students too. And that varies from school to school. At my daughter, Zoe, who I was talking about, at her high school, one of her very good friends is a transgender woman, a girl, and she has been allowed to use the girls' room for the last 2 years, and there are no issues. She's not sneaking in there because she wants to watch anybody go to the bathroom. She just wants to go to the bathroom, wash her hands, maybe, fix her lipstick, and get back to class.
Right.
And nobody at that school has a problem with it. They haven't had any issues or problems.
Yeah. What school is that again?
That's at Belmont High School.
Okay.
Science, because it is science, has changed so radically since I've just been a teenager. When I was either 13 or 14 years old, the DSM-2, which is this. What happened, John?
Oh, there we go.
Hey, John, can we get as a background? Let's get the second background. What would it be? OD. If you get a chance. There we go.
Oh, those are my kids.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we got another background too. I like that. No hate.
Yeah.
When I was 13 or 14, the DSM-2. Which is the Diagnostical and Statistical Manual of the American Psychiatric Association. Homosexuality is considered a mental illness. I'm told there was some pressure by gay activists and gay psychiatrists and psychologists.
When did that change? Was that in the 70s when that changed?
DSM-3, which was, they changed it.
Okay.
And people are still, like the American Family Association will claim, oh, well, that was just a result of political pressure and
Right.
that.
Well, because
that.
they come from a point of view that it's a choice, which I think is absurd. No one chooses their sexuality. I didn't choose to be attracted to women. Why would I presume a gay person chooses to be attracted to whomever they're attracted to? It doesn't make any sense.
What's it? Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say my son. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing the story, but he shared that he first realized that he was gay when he woke up one morning and he'd had a dream about one of the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, no
And he was like, oh!
That's funny.
We won't
He was
bring
very
up
young,
like
maybe
Julie.
third grade.
Yeah.
I've been carrying the torch for Julie Christie since 1974.
Yeah.
When I think they put Dr. Zhivago on the TV. We've already had this. We're not going to go into that discussion now.
That we can't show
Don't
her
look now.
greatest scene? Yes.
And I've been looking for Shirley MacLaine, all my life.
Yes.
Let's get. And we were talking about Anne Margaret the other day.
Yes, yes.
But one of the things was when I grew up, there was always the nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're starting genetics, because one of the most famous cases that really blew away the fact that it's just culture and just, well, you could raise a boy as a girl to be a girl, was there was a botched circumcision, and they gave the boy, I can't remember his name, somebody named Colapinto wrote about it, because my friend Dave is not related to him. I have a friend, Dave, and he was a Canadian. So they reassigned him, and he went with somebody that was a famous psychologist of the time that claimed everything was just environment.
Mm-hmm.
And they raised him as a girl, but he wasn't.
Right.
Even with the genitals and everything. And he committed suicide. And he really refuted, at that point, started refuting that it's just culture, that it's not genetics. But the MRI, brain science, I think it's very difficult for a lot of people, even myself, I've had to think about it, to the idea of a transgendered person.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Heather in an email, I've written a lot about, I guess I was the number 5 person on the Internet Movie Database. And that's my claim to fame, writing they took it down about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And we won't get into that either. And I wrote something about Christine Jorgensen, which is one of the things people actually picked up on, in a way, because the first sex change operation was in 1930.
Wow, really?
And it was in Britain. It was I think it was a male to female, because I guess that was it was the female to male was harder to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, Europeans always want to classify everything, and a lot of people that are critics of European white male culture, because the Europeans classify Moors from Africa who were black as Caucasian, because they had beaten the whites for 1,000 years,
right.
had Spain until they got knocked up. So, and one thing it was said at the time that a homosexual is a woman in a man's body, because no man can really want to have sex with a man.
Mm-hmm.
And we taught the discussion. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And people were talking about that, and that was part of the idea of the first sex change operation. And at the time, this is before MRI. The science with MRIs is just exploding.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, you have to rethink your thinking about certain things.
Yeah.
Everything is changing so much.
But there's still this whole
Genes express themselves. You change even while we're living.
Yeah. But there's also the junk science that's out there, like the gay reparative therapy and things like that, which is just insane.
We'll talk about that.
So damaging.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just awful.
Anne Marie Banfield, with that Cornerstone group, they were against a bill that would outlaw gay conversion therapy. Now, there is a evangelical church in Auburn that in 2011 was sponsoring a group called Exodus International. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of them? Mm-hmm. It's what is it called? It's a gay it's a group of former gays who have who've seen the light, moved by the Spirit.
Yes.
In the church,
Jesus took their
one
gay
of
away.
the proofs of God is, speaking in tongues.
Yes.
Which, if you watch my show enough, you'll probably see I speak in tongues often. And they sponsored in 2011 an event, gay conversion. Oh, you're not really gay. We can
Pray the gay away.
Yeah.
pray the gay way. But it's more than that because it's a business too.
Oh, absolutely.
I think American Family Association used to have a gay conversion business.
a
And they
whole
sold
industry.
it for $6 million, and it went bankrupt. And Exodus International ceased to exist. They're doing this not just for faith; they're doing it for money.
Of course.
Like so many
It's a scam.
evangelicals.
It's a scam. Like Marcus Bachman, Michelle Bachman's husband. He's a big purveyor of that.
yes.
He runs a whole clinic. And if you've ever seen Marcus Bachman and heard him speak, it's pretty easy to figure out what's really going on there. That dude's running from something. And you don't need a psych degree to figure out what it is.
See,
but,
this is how we think.
Yeah.
As I told you. Let me see if I can. Hey, we're going to have the hour. We'll forestall the. John, we're going to forestall the Gatsis gubernatorial gala too, because I had two shots over my bow today.
Yes.
From the mayor. When the mayor doesn't like me, he has his way.
He lets you know.
Yeah. When you get a little too close. Hey, Chris, where is Chris Sununu's office? He might want to find out about that. Well, we're not going to get into that. Remember, we can always edit this stuff. I edit one of the shows. Were you on the Panama Papers?
Yeah.
I got down to a half hour. The other
Really?
half hour was just.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I probably should call John in a bit. But talk about junk science, because this is why the Southern Poverty Law Center calls the American Family Association an extremist group, because it's not based on science.
Right.
And what I was trying to say, we all change our ideas, like Rich Gerard strutting around and challenging me to a fight. Jesus.
Yeah.
This is just the way I think. This guy must be closeted. And you ask me, oh, yeah, sure he is. Because we're all experts. We're all experts. And, I'd love to show one of these clips from Myra Breckenridge.
Is that an actress? That's a familiar name, but I'm not sure.
Myra Breckenridge? Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about junk science. I'm going to call John.
Okay.
We can do a whole nother. You're always welcome back.
Yeah,
We could go on forever.
I do know. There's been some research
call
about kids who are abused, boys in particular. I think, and I haven't looked at this closely, but there apparently there is some evidence to suggest that there may be a correlation with boys who are sexually abused, who are then come out as gay. So there may be a slight window there where there are some people who, again, with the whole nature versus nurture, some people who
Could it be your proclivities might be gay, and then you're taken advantage by an older person?
right? Well, that's
Right.
that's the thing. There's no way to prove
John?
that.
Yes,
John is we have John Pendergast. Is that you, John?
that is I, yes.
Okay, let me get your picture. We're having a discussion about gay conversion therapy and junk science. We're gonna put.
I've been watching, actually.
Okay.
Oh, good.
The website.
I don't think we're gonna go with the Myra Breckenridge theme today. How about J1? That's John, our other John Eric.
Hello?
That's. Yeah, I'm here. John Eric is our. There we are. We
he
have
is.
your picture up, John Pendergast. John, why don't you tell the audience here at Ward 13 about yourself? How do we know each other?
You mean me and John Hopwood?
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm watching you, and I didn't realize that it's on a
Oh,
delay there.
there's a delay,
we met
yeah.
At,
John, you got to not watch it, because I already told you the delay was 20 seconds. I think after
It's
Tom
more.
F-bombed, we probably got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
I know John from
so I
the
should
Army.
probably stop
Oh,
watching.
okay.
Anyway, we met in outside Stuttgart at the Stuttgart Army Airfield in, I guess, 1987.
Right, we were in the same MI unit, 2nd MI Battalion.
Yes, indeed. Where I had been sent because the Army decided for me to learn Russian. And so I guess I did a halfway decent job, although I'm not sure that the Army paid any attention to how anybody's Russian actually was.
John, I flunked out of
It's just about where
DLI.
to send them.
John, I flunked out of DLI, and I wound up in the live mission all the people in my class that actually got through DLI with honors, they all wound up in a motor pool in Texas. And none of them made sergeant.
I heard that more than once, yes. So
That's the
I'm not sure what that says about my Russian ability, but I've held on to it pretty well.
And anything else you want to tell the audience?
About
Yourself
the Army
or whatever.
About
How do you say gay?
Identifying myself. Well, I am gay, and I served in the Army in that capacity, very much undercover, if you will.
Did Don't Ask, Don't Tell help
pretty
you?
much until I retired. And following the time that when we were in Stuttgart together, I was then sent eventually to become an officer, and served as an officer for another 10 years or so, and finished up teaching at West Point, where I actually still teach now. And since then, I've gone back to get my PhD in comparative literature, and completed that last year.
So were you in the closet this entire time with the Army, or how did that work?
Well, from certainly the time I entered until I retired, which was 2008. So around 20 years or so. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Now, John, why did you? Oh, this is a whole nother. I'm still wondering why John even stayed in the Army. To be frank, John, I have to share a. We all started looking with the internet, and Facebook. We started looking people up. I was always close to, like Lisa. I don't know if Lisa Bennett was there, but Melissa and were you there when Karen Lazarus was there?
Yes, I didn't know her well. I knew Lisa better, and definitely Melissa very well.
Yeah, Lisa and I lived together, and Karen and I we got radiated together. But that's another. I don't know if you were there when that happened, but
I was not.
Yeah, that was quite a unit, though. Now I'm losing my train of thought because I'm tripping. Okay, Matt.
You're reminiscing.
Well, I'm thinking about Karen and Lisa.
I understand.
When we started trying to find other people, we couldn't believe, your name. I looked for you, and I couldn't believe that you would have stayed in the Army. And, any intelligent person, why would they stay in the Army? Particularly somebody... John is highly intelligent, sensitive, and everything.
Did you guys just reconnect recently?
No, a few years ago.
Well, I would like to say that I was very fortunate. I kept getting what I considered to be very good assignments, doing things that I really believed in and enjoyed for the most part. And when I do get that question from people, well, why did you stay in the Army, or why did you decide to take a career in the Army? I said, I can't say that it's because I did anything particularly intelligent, but I was extremely lucky in terms of, from leaving Stuttgart, I don't know if you remember this or not, I was just sort of picked almost at random to start working on the treaty between the Soviet Union and the United States on short-range missiles.
Did you go with Dave Yosha?
So I did that for 3 years, and I got to fly all over Europe
that must have been fascinating.
All the former Soviet states, and who's going to get out of the Army at that point?
Right.
Hey, that's how I lost my security clearance, but that's another story.
Oh, that sounds like a good story.
And, I was covering up for the woman I loved.
Really?
Well, we committed adultery, and she wanted to keep her security clearance.
This sounds like it. You're just full of secrets. This sounds like a great story.
I think only a few people know about that.
Oh, my.
But she doesn't watch the show, so
now 13 people know.
But, but I was looking for John, and, there's the name. Here's this guy who's really intelligent. He's sensitive. I remember we were talking about you at one time, and just saying, we were wondering about you, and I said, geez, he's really smart. And look at the books he reads. And,
yeah.
Sure clue you might be gay. But here's it. Here you are at West Point. I think John could not have stayed in the military, just because he's intelligent. Why would he be there?
Right,
but now we know. And then I saw he was the teacher or whatever, the person that headed up the Glee Club.
Oh,
you headed the Glee Club. And said that has to be John now. And it was you.
I do work with the
Wow.
Glee Club, yes. I wouldn't say that I headed up, but I do work with them. Yes.
Well, Lisa was a classically trained musician, and whenever I would sing, she would go crazy. So she says I'm tone deaf, but John, are you born gay, or is it? can you, through an act of will, change yourself?
Well, it's interesting you ask that question because you may remember that, in fact, I did get married
Right.
and have children.
Yes.
And the woman I married was a woman you may remember from Stuttgart. Now, I haven't spoken to her about, discussing our details on television.
Okay, yeah.
So I won't. But she worked there, in Stuttgart. And we
I think
met,
yeah.
And I would say it was definitely something of a sheer act of will. We developed a, I guess, normal heterosexual relationship, and I maintained that. We had a second child for, I guess that would be 10 years or so.
But to be able to do that, wouldn't that make you, forgive me if I'm getting too personal, but this is already a pretty personal conversation, it seems. Wouldn't that make you bisexual, effectively, to have been able to do all of that?
I mean, I guess technically, yes. I have to say, although I think about these things a lot, I can't say that I've studied them, biologically or psychologically.
Right. Yeah.
From what I've read, I think it's, who is it? Somebody made the scale.
Kinsey.
Kinsey.
The Kinsey scale.
1 to 5 or 1 to 6?
I think it's 1 to 6, right?
Yeah.
Right, that it's rare to be like exclusively gay or exclusively hetero.
Yeah.
And we're mostly
that's
going
my
between.
understanding. And I Kinsey, that's what
Right.
the scale is called. Even going back into college, the friends that I had who were gay, they always said that I was a perfect 3, because I did, find women attractive.
Okay.
Hey, can I share an anecdote?
Yes.
Do you remember when I came back from PLDC? I was mad at you. You told me you
recall that, but go ahead.
You told me you thought you were in love with Angie, and I was in love with her, so I got really mad at you. Because Lisa had left for the States by that time.
Yeah, it doesn't lead
we
to a lot
were
of,
attracted to the same
healthy
woman.
relationships, I guess,
Yeah.
to be in love with more than one person at a time.
Geez, some people, I guess it's normal, but we won't get into that.
Well, in libertarian circles, it's all about polyamory.
Right.
They're always talking
I've
about
heard about that
polyamory.
as well, but
Yeah.
again, I don't know. The funny thing is that in a lot of ways, and I guess staying in the military is a clue of that. I guess culturally, when it comes to music, literature, art, those kinds of things, I'm a kind of conservative person. And when it comes to personal relationships, I guess I am as well.
Yeah.
But so being gay, what do you think about conversion therapy? Do you think that religion can change a person's sexual? But it wouldn't even be preference. Is that that's
Orientation.
Orientation.
Yeah,
That was a word that was used.
Yeah,
15 years ago.
because preference implies that it is a choice.
That's a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Change it. In my opinion, I'd say nothing can actually change it. It will possibly influence how you personally decide to behave, because you can certainly behave in certain ways as a matter of choice and preference. But how you feel as you engage in those behaviors is not going to be changed by anything other than, yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And even that, I don't think. I mean, I have, again, without getting into too much detail, I'm definitely. I feel much more naturally myself living as I do now than I did when I was married.
You have a partner, do you? Or do you have a partner? I actually know the question.
Yes, I do.
I actually know the answer to that one. And you fell in love with him.
Yes, absolutely.
And
He is what we call a gold card homosexual.
You mean he's a
that
6?
He's had no experience with women ever before.
Huh.
So whenever, this topic comes up of that time when I was married and the things that happened in my life at that time, he gets a little squirmish. Squeamish, I should say.
But he's fine with your daughters, of course.
What's that?
He's you're like a stepfather to your daughters.
Yes, that's
So,
true.
but that's a
certainly
different thing,
knows
yeah.
them and they know him. I think it's definitely not a paternal relationship. It's more like an older, type uncle.
Avuncular, yeah.
But yes, absolutely, and that is a good thing. It's a great relationship, and it would be difficult for me if that were not a strong, healthy relationship between them.
Right. What's the difference between, do you think, because I know some people that are still in the closet, and they think, geez, if, they're born in the 50s or 60s.
Right.
What's the difference of being born in the, before, let's say, the millennials? Is it easier to know who you are?
I don't know if
Heather,
it's
you
easier
jumped
to know
into
who you are, because even with like people my children's age, and of course the college age students I teach
Right.
At West Point, they still go through periods of not really knowing how they fit in, or
Right.
not really understanding what their feelings are. The only thing that's, I think, much better for them is that they don't have to go through as much social
Stigma?
ostracism
Ostracism.
as a result of it. And actually, at West Point, there is a gay-straight alliance that I'm involved with.
great.
Wow.
Spectrum. And the most striking thing to me about both that club and about the implementation of, or the removal, I should say, of Don't Ask, Don't Tell from West Point was how it was just absolutely a non-event.
Right. Well, because I remember, it's interesting, I forget who the gentlemen were who testified in front of Congress from the military, members of the
Dan
Joint
Choi.
Chiefs. Oh, okay.
Dan Choi was
right,
one
right.
of them.
Okay, thank you. And if you watch the testimony, it basically could be summed up as, look, we're all adults here. It's time to make this change, and it's going to be okay.
Let's be frank.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing terrible happened to the military because of it.
John, when I was in the Army, military intelligence in the 80s, Field Station Berlin was like, a Fire Island or something. There were so many gay people that served with us.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
I can even tell, I remember when I was at DLI, my friend was from the Deep South, and there was a gay guy hitting on him. And he went and complained to our staff sergeant, and the staff sergeant laughed at him because he said, "This is MI,
Yeah.
Nobody really." And,
Yeah.
I can
Well,
imagine in
and I
a
know you
combat
must have
arms.
heard, again, this is a derisive term, but people called all the graduates of DLI Monterey Marys that DLI had.
I didn't hear that, but I will embrace it. In fact, the Rich Girard poster as Mae West that we're not going to use. We won't even get into that.
Again, without going into too much detail, that there wasn't that much of a sort of gay underworld at DLI. It was there.
Right.
But I would
That's
say,
defense
no more than
language
any other
institute.
place. But I will also say this, that just
Oh
the
my
kind
God.
of people who were attracted to going to DLI, straight or gay, the people that I met there,
Right.
we met a little later, but the people
Oh,
who
yeah.
we met there.
My brother
I
couldn't
really,
believe it
for
when
the
he
first
visited.
time in my life, felt like I had found my people when I was at DLI in Monterey in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it didn't have, it had less to do with sexuality than with just a very, very open, cultural mindset.
Well, we're all kind of people looking for something, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're
That's
all
true.
on
There
a
was
journey.
definitely the whole searching thing and not finding it at home and wanting to go elsewhere. So that was, you're right, that's another big part of it.
When I went, when my brother came to visit me, he was career Air Force. He said he was surprised. Not only it was like a college campus, but in my cohort, we all joined during the Reagan recession, so everybody had a college degree. And then a little afterwards, the kids came in because of Reagan. See, we got our degrees because of Jimmy Carter and financial aid. Then Reagan took it away. So then you'd get the kids that couldn't finish their degree. And, you
right.
paid off your student loans and you got the bonus.
Okay.
But you'd meet many questing people. I didn't want to go to law school. I wished I had. Nah.
Right.
But what can you do, But something that went off. Can you be gay and get a secure? When did when did they stop using being a homosexual as a reason to deny you a security clearance?
Well, in the Army, only after the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Honestly, is that true?
In DOD
Wow.
more broadly, I think it was sometime in the mid to late 80s. So at NSA and DIA and the other security agencies, that was no longer an issue by either the late 80s or the early 90s. I've forgotten now which. But within the Army, yeah, it was still an issue until Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed.
I'm not surprised because we see our stories in the media of translators getting booted out who were needed.
That's I
Right.
can tell
Oh,
you
yes.
about that. I can actually
No
tell.
question. And that was, like I said, that was happening right up to the repeal, which was only
John, I can tell you about that
2 years
because
ago.
my friend was, who's been on, another person who has actually been on the show, was at DLI. He was the assistant dean. They didn't want, a lot of those people didn't want to go to the Iraq War.
Ah, okay.
So
Right.
you could use that and just get out.
Oh, interesting.
In fact, I'm not going to go into any more details because I don't
Yeah.
want to compromise them.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was who wants to go to the Iraq War, and you got a 72-week language. It's gold. And so there was a lot of that. And believe me, he was very sympathetic towards the students, like MI people are. But were you ever in Black Ops? Oh, well, you can't answer that anyways. In Black Ops, I know somebody very well who said they had a clearance 23 steps ahead of me. And when you go on the box, when I went on the box at NSA, you only had to answer 6 easy questions. When you're in Black Ops and really high up, they ask you every type of lifestyle question. Who did you sleep with? This and that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
I fluttered, because I'd committed adultery and,
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't even ask.
Really?
Oh, it's just a shell game.
Yeah.
You know, there's something on your mind. I can tell.
They're more interested
they're probably
in, connections with people overseas and why you're...
Right. That's the
overseas.
6.
I think that's much more of the sensitive thing, certainly these days.
That's the 6 easy questions. But when you're in ops, your lifestyle choices will become a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about in California, where I lived many years? Cherchez la femme, Lisa. We went to California, and I can no longer afford to live there. Accommodating transgender students. Would you like to tell us your opinion of that?
Me?
Right, and is there any?
Well, I do. I will say, the Army has begun looking at that. The Secretary
Really?
of Defense
Because of Obama,
task
the
force
administration.
last summer
Right.
to at least study it, and the
Can you come out in
the
the?
separation of transgendered soldiers or gender dysphoria soldiers has been elevated all the way up to an undersecretary.
Really?
So that it can't be used as just as a targeting kind of mechanism any longer.
Are there transgender students at the military academies, and are there transgendered soldiers, sailors that have come out?
I am aware of an Air Force enlisted
Right.
soldier who is female to male, and he is currently being allowed to continue to serve. At the academy, there's nobody who's truly transgender.
Right.
There are a couple of people who have privately said that they feel that they identify as being transgender. But they have not taken any steps to actually physically change anything. And as long as they don't, the Army doesn't really have a problem with that.
Now, can I just ask you a question? West Point students can't get married, but there are now gay marriages in the service, right?
Yes.
And they're sanctioned by the Department of Defense.
It's not an issue since
Right.
they can't get married anyway.
Now, are these rules? This is because of President Obama, right? This is by executive order, because he is the commander in chief. You can't refute that he has those powers.
Right.
If Mitt Romney had been elected in 2012, do you think he would have been as liberal?
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do think that Don't Ask, Don't Tell, well, let's see. Yeah, that would not have been eliminated because that was under the second term.
Right.
So, yeah, that would have been, a very different situation.
Do you have any questions as a Heather, as a parent of a gay son or anything?
About the military?
No, or anything,
Or anything.
to John, his journey.
Not that I could think of right now. I'm an Army brat myself.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. My dad was in the Army.
I just started reading Reflections in a Golden Eye by Carson McCullers. It's a great movie with Marlon Brando playing a repressed homosexual. He's a military
yeah, I think
officer.
the movie is great. I've never read the story, actually. I should.
She's a great writer.
I love Carson McCullers.
Oh, yeah. And I just started reading it. She's a beautiful writer. But Brando, who was originally going to be in it? Montgomery Clift, who would have been typecast in it. You wouldn't think Marlon Brando, but geez, he's brilliant in it. I was watching.
He is. I completely agree.
Right, and we can have you back on the Myra Breckenridge show. John Huston, the director who directed Reflections in a Golden Eye, plays one of the characters.
Really?
Yeah, I have to admit, I love camp.
Yes.
I was telling, Susan Sontag in 1964 wrote a famous article about camp, the camp sensibility.
Yeah.
Myra Breckenridge is a novel by Gore Vidal. Well, we're going to do some... John, you'll be back on the show. Tell us what you're going to talk about on the show. My
You mean when I
mind
come back the
skips.
next time?
Right, when you do come back, we're going to talk about Jeanne D'Arc.
Yes. Well, I do want to talk about my dissertation, which was about Joan of Arc.
Right.
Specifically about Schiller's take on Joan of Arc that he created in a play in 1801, and why he did what he did with Joan of Arc's story, because he departed quite radically from history.
Joan,
and what happened with that story after Schiller, because several
Right.
other writers and composers took his story and ran with it in various ways.
the most famous play, Shaw, Saint Joan, in the English language, what's that, 1920? And she was yet a saint. He had to retitle it. She became a saint in 1928. Is she the patron? I don't think she's the patron saint of France, but would you say Joan had issues with gender?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't know that she certainly wouldn't have turned to those issues the way that we do today.
John, John Eric, can we see J2 if you get a chance? John Eric, if you get the picture. It's of Jean with the cardinal.
Yes.
She's got her hair there.
Yeah.
Did she? Do you think she might have been transgender?
It's possible.
Right.
I think she was. There are some people who say that she had a particular kind of physical disfigurement that actually made her feminine genitalia not fully developed.
Oh, that she was a hermaphrodite? No, that's you have both. Okay.
Not a hermaphrodite,
Right. A eunuch?
but it was some sort of other issue with the genitalia. Not
She
being
might have had
developed.
too much testosterone or something. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, so we're engaging in the historical, fallacy by going back and trying to recast. But it's a very interesting story, and we'll have you back on again, John. I think
great.
in May.
Thank you.
Make sure you get yourself, the clearance from West Point,
Yeah. It's nice
so we
to
don't
meet
get
you,
you in trouble. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Heather, why don't you wrap
Interesting guy.
up the show?
Yeah, you can handle the closing, Heather, if you don't mind.
Well, we can't go with our original closing. Because I was hoping they were going to close Ward 13 down, and they probably would. You can go on the Ward 13 with John Hobbit Facebook page. You can see all the videos and more information about Prom Out Loud. Why don't you just, once again, tell the audience about
Yeah, so Prom Out Loud, Glam Rock and Glitter will be taking place on Sunday, April 24th, this Sunday, 7 to 11 p.m. Tickets are $10. You can purchase them online. We have a Facebook page for GLSEN, New Hampshire, and there's a link there to get the tickets, $10. Also available at the door until they're gone, until we sell out. And 7 to 11, Pappas, or Puritan Backroom, Pappas Function Room.
Right.
Excellent.
And I'd like to ask you, for any student that it feels that they can't go because of pressures, either from parents or what should they do?
Who can't go to?
Who can't, for whatever issue that maybe you're in a Christian, so-called Christian household.
Yeah.
And what should a gay youth that would like to go or needs help? Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Who should they go? Who should they put their hand out
Well,
to?
I mean, if they're fortunate, there could be somebody in their school. So a lot of times students will find a teacher, a guidance counselor, a school nurse. Some teachers will have a safe space sticker or something in their room, a rainbow flag or something that indicates that they're a safe person to go and talk to. So that can be a really good support. And I think in any school, there's going to be somebody like that. Most schools in New Hampshire, a lot of schools have a GSA. Not all schools, a Gay Straight Alliance.
Oh, okay.
That students can go to. Some students are
Is
going
there a
to,
website or organization? We have to really wrap it up.
Oh, yes, for GLSEN, GLSEN.org.
Okay. And once again, you can go on Ward 13 with John Hop and find it. And Matt, you're going to put the show up on your site, of
Absolutely,
course.
yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd love to have you back because I know you're a writer and a poet, too.
That's
Are
true.
you not?
Well,
I would like more to talk about stuff like that than politics.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just for one day, we can be heroes. Just for one day.
You all mind if we join you?
Oh, back it right in here. With you. Come on.
Should I introduce us? I'm Judy Morgan.
I'm terribly sorry to say the Vanna Dillon. This here is Rosalie.
He always wears hats in the presence of ladies.
All the time.
He even sleeps in his hat. I'll bet.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Good idea.
Well, I got a theory. I learned a little while back that certain conditions bring the gambler luck, you know? Oh, thank you. And this here hat's one of them. You know, every time I take this hat off, something bad happens to me, and I ain't about to have that happen again.
You know, I felt the exact same way about a black cat I had once. And I never once let it sleep with me.
How about that? I've been waiting.
Keep on waiting, Roland. Will you take your paws off me?
All right, steady. I'm talking to her. Now, why don't you do what he says? You're making a big mistake. Sure.
So weird. He followed me here all the way from Chicago.
What for?
I heard men terrible.
Ain't they, though?
I heard men terrible.
Ain't they, though?
I heard men terrible.
Ain't they, though?
I'm sorry.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.